Yes, we do.
Captain, incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind.
Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
Moopsie.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hey there, we're Those Sci-Fi Guys, and this is that Those Sci-Fi Guys show. Just two working dudes, different lives, different jobs, but a whole lot of love for science fiction, the fun that comes with. We are your hosts. I am P.S. McKay, fresh from talking about space Nazis.
Oh my! I'm
There's a
DT
lot of
Catman, and
hate
I was just trying to move beyond that.
Well, I think it's important. We just want to re-emphasize how much fun we had recording with these sci-fi guys yesterday. The episode's up and live now, everybody. It was
fun.
We reviewed the a pièce de résistance, Iron Sky. Literally, it was a piece de resistance.
It was
Iron
a piece
Sky.
of shit. Okay,
Well,
let's just go ahead.
There's
La creme de la merde.
It was so bad. It was admirable. I did mention that.
You thought so. I wouldn't even broken stick.
I have a certain perspective as someone who made films growing up, not in pictures, but films.
God, you are so pretentious.
I know, right? It's just interesting. There are things I see about it that I can't help but like, and other things that I can understand why everyone hates it. But we never would have reviewed it here. Never would have heard the end of it. But these sci-fi guys, Dave and Shane and Chad, unfortunately John wasn't available, were more than gracious enough to, one, hear my suggestion, and then two, be very charitable in having us on. So
it was charity.
Well, yeah, we had a good time though. I think we had some good discussions about it, and there was a lot of laughter at the end. Everyone was like, "Ah, wow, that was a lot of laughing. We had a good time there." So, anyway, so there's that. It's up and running. These Sci-Fi Guys, Iron Sky, and we'll have Dave on next on our show to discuss that topic, which will be disclosed when you listen to that episode. How are you doing, DT?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay.
Good. It's been a long time since we spoke, so figure we might as well just get started. This is going to be a little bit of an abbreviated episode.
Mac's dealing with a Big Mac attack.
What?
Why not?
No, I'm just tired.
Just
after we finished recording, I wrote for an hour and a half. Got plugged out 7 pages last night. So, yeah, but let's get started. What brings us here today, DT?
Well, DT Catman is fresh from Boston Fan Expo 2025, where the Boston Fan Expo actually got some play on the national sci-fi media when apparently a Ewan McGregor line from a panel was misinterpreted, supposedly, to make it seem like he was in
Ahsoka season 2.
Ahsoka season 2.
Okay, I did see that headline, and I'm sitting there like,
Now,
so
here's
what happened with that?
I don't know. I wasn't there. Here's the thing, right? Most of the panels, like even the best panels, are usually, mid to late afternoon. This was at 7:30 at night, man. We were we were smoked. We bounced, we got home at 7, and it was an hour drive. So like
Yeah.
we saw what we wanted to see. I mean, that would have been the one to go to, but it was late, man. We got
Yeah.
there for 10. You're in lines, you're on your feet all day. I'm old and creaky. My kid. I mean, we had fun, but that was just too late. If it was, right after we finished our photo op, yeah, okay, we'd take a whack at it, but it was just too much. It was just too late for us. But apparently, Ewan McGregor had said something along the lines of, "We just finished filming season 2 of Ahsoka," and then he like backtracked later on. He's like, "No, my wife was in it. I was there visiting."
He was probably around. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Because I didn't even think about it, because I forgot that Ahsoka takes place post Return of the Jedi, and I was thinking that he would be. Yeah, I didn't. Number one, I saw the headline, and I'm just like nonplussed by it. I'm like, whatever. Like, just another hype headline for no reason whatsoever. And then, yeah, so that makes sense. His wife plays Hera, so
yeah,
her
but
at the production.
would it surprise you if they have another world between world moment and he does show up now?
I mean, at this point, nothing surprises me, because like everything they've done everything mostly bad, but like and that's not. And I'm not digging on Ahsoka itself. Ahsoka was fine. I had my criticisms of it. It was not the Acolyte, okay?
No.
But I'm just talking about my overall malaise when it comes to the gestalt of entertainment right now as it stands. Like, I just cannot get excited
Yeah, I gotcha.
for anything, because they have, like, every single hype is super produced, super manufactured, and super censored. And it started with Star Trek and CBS back in 2017. That I noticed.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So, we have this nostalgia, and you have a lot of faith, right? That, okay, it's coming back. Well, it's going to be great. And then sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And it throws your whole perception out of whack, especially when everything looks like it's lined up for success, where it looks like it's going to be awesome. And then it doesn't. Like with Picard, right? Everybody was excited after how frustrating fucking Discovery was.
Yeah.
Like, Picard is coming back. Patrick Stewart is coming back. He is going to save Star Trek. Yep. And then you hear, well, Brent Spiner and Marina Sirtis and Jonathan Frakes are going to show up. And so, 7 of 9 is going to show up, right? So they're going to mix a little. And then it was just okay. Season 1. Season 2, they're like, well, they're going to, Q's coming back.
It was
holy shit. And then you're like, wait, what? What did I just watch?
Yeah. We discussed that too. Picard season 2, everybody. Go back and take a listen.
But season 3 really did stick the landing. And when you struggle for the first 2 years of a show, and it's a 3-year show, and you stick the landing that hard, it almost pulls the rest of the series up.
You can almost be forgiven. And that goes to show how quickly the fan faith in a franchise can change for the positive, as long as something positively is done. Like, remember, I mean, it was a year ago when Marvel had their last $1 billion film. That was Deadpool and Wolverine. And and it was a well done movie. It wasn't art, but it was funny and it was entertaining, and it gave us a lot of fun things to be entertained by. So,
The funny thing
yeah,
about Deadpool is that those movies have more heart than they should have.
they really do.
But you're right. It wasn't Endgame, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But you sit here, you go to these, and me, this is my fifth con in 3 years, right? And then we're going to make it 6, barring unforeseen circumstances when it comes to my kids' upcoming school schedule. But 6 looks likely, okay? And I do enjoy these things. Some years are better than others. Like this year, they had some good guests who canceled. And then, of course, you're looking at the guests who are there, like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and John Cena, and you're like, oh, I would see those guys. And then you look at the price tag for just a picture, and you're like, fuck. I spent on a picture, okay, and I'm going to spill it. My kid and I took a picture with Boba Fett himself, Temura Morrison. Okay, Temura Morrison, outstanding. We're very excited to do that.
You're taller than him.
So is my kid. We both.
Yeah.
My daughter was marveling. She's like, I didn't expect to be taller than him. I'm like, well, you are tall. She's like, okay, but it was funny, and it was like, she had, a wig on, and it was getting caught up, and as we were getting ready to go in, and one of the camera people come over and help her out, and he's like, oh, hey. And when she was free, he's like, oh, come on over. It was very nice to her. And I said, I was like, and I just leaned over and I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, doing all right. Good on you, mate. And just puts his arm around me, gives a big smile. And we just said, thank you. He said, hey, thank you. Just very nice, very polite, in and out, as these things always are.
Yeah.
But, you can sometimes tell when you're going in if people are tired of it or if they're just, they're just kind of used to it. And others maybe a little warmer. But he seemed like a nice enough dude. Never heard anything otherwise. So, but he was, one of those, like the group before us was like 5 people. He's like, come here, everybody get in. And he's like, right in the middle. So clearly somebody who I think gets it at least, right?
Did you ever see the movie Once We're Warriors?
I don't think so.
Let me pull it up. I want to say it was 1994. Temura Morrison played the father of a household, and it was an exceedingly just like broken household, like abuse, drug use.
Sure.
He loved his kids, but he kept putting his kids in bad position in unsafe situations. And one thing happened to his daughter by one of his friends, and that's all I'm going to say. He was a scary dude in that movie. Like scary. Came out in 94. That's how I got introduced to this guy through film school. And when I saw him in playing Jango Fett, I'm like, oh, dang, that's that guy. I'm like, interesting.
I'm pretty sure Jango Fett was the first time I was introduced to him.
Yeah.
And then he comes back as the clone template. He's, Commander Cody. You see that,
Yeah.
But then they start editing his voice into the special editions for Boba Fett. And then he finally comes back in Mandalorian. He gets his own show. I like this guy. I've seen him in other stuff, right? I saw him in
Oh yeah, he's very
Spartacus. He
Yeah.
was he actually he played the role of Abin Sur, in the origin of the greatest Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, right? The most widely known version of the Green Lantern. His origin story is this alien Abin Sur crash lands on Earth,
Wait,
and
was
his
this
ring
the
finds Hal Jordan.
Ryan?
Yes,
The
this was in the
2011 one?
shitty Ryan. Yeah, this was in the Ryan Reynolds, and he was mostly computer generated, but he was the voice of
I didn't realize that.
Evan Soar. Yeah,
I
so
own that movie, by the way.
I mean, when you watch it the first time, you're like, "Oh, this is kind of fun," and then you're like, "Ooh, they have some missteps."
Yeah, you have to look at it again to know to kind of see why.
Right.
But
But wasn't
whatever.
Taika Waititi? Wasn't he his sidekick, his friend? Wasn't it Taika Waititi?
Oh, let me look. Maybe Green Lantern. Anyway, how did it go with Temura?
Like I
Said he was
said, he
very
was
nice.
just nice, welcoming.
You're
pull,
correct, by the way.
pull.
Taika was in that movie.
Yeah, I thought so. Pulled him in, pulled me and my daughter in. Nothing untoward, just bring it in. Big smile, let us go. It was nice. That's what I can say. You know, like I said, some people you say, you can tell are there. They know they're either there. Maybe they plaster on a fake smile, but I think some of them have more genuine reactions.
Yeah.
Here's the thing coming in with a young woman too, like my daughter, taking her when we met, like when we met Rosario Dawson and Katie Sackhoff, they both really, made a point to say hello to my daughter. They weren't rude to me, but they complimented her on her costume and her makeup. And, I really
Yeah.
appreciated that, right? That
Yeah.
my kid's walking out with a big smile on her face. Rosario Dawson loves my makeup. Katie Sackhoff thinks my costume is awesome. You know,
Bringing the kid
that
is kind of your pass to have like a more genuine experience.
I'm not going to say it's that because I got a great reaction from Peter Cullen when I leaned in and I'm like, Optimus Prime helped form my leadership style. And he was very surprised by that.
Well, Peter Cullen's just a really good guy. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was
not to say that
awesome.
the others aren't, or I'm not smack talking anyone or anything
No,
like
of course
that.
not.
But it's
You
just
know,
having a child with you automatically puts you at a baseline of the kind of person that people could expect you to be.
well,
So
hopefully they think you're not a creep or anything like that. But you also want, like hopefully it looks like, hey, here's a guy and here's a father and a daughter doing a family thing together. Maybe this is a bonding thing. So
yeah,
maybe it does look cool, right?
yeah, it
I mean,
does.
like, and I think, like, so my experiences with the Star Trek actors, Frakes, Dorn, and Burton, right? I think, like, they were very, they were, hello, come on in. How are you? Small smiles, you know, take a picture. Thank you for coming. Again, they're not standoffish, but like these guys are like the polished pros way before everybody else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like even an older actor has not been doing this as long as those dudes. Okay,
right.
so like they are really moving them in, right?
They've been doing
And
it since the '80s.
but also their fans are older too. Most of them, not
Very.
all. But my wife was super excited because she's a big reader. And his and LeVar Burton's stance on literacy, and of course, us growing up as a reading rainbow generation, was a big deal. That's the reason she agreed to go. She wanted to see LeVar Burton. And she had very nice and complimentary things to say about going to see, being at a con and seeing why people, are generally supportive of each other and, love seeing everybody's creative costumes and all of the that comes with. But that's why she went, right? Me, it had been a bucket list item. Now it's kind of a almost like it's a nice father daughter bonding time. We go and we do these. We try to figure out who we want to see. I've happened. I've been able to expose her to some things. Like we got to see Shatner speak. We got to see Kate Mulgrew speak. She's seen a couple of old episodes of Star Trek. But she's not seen Voyager, and I tried to pump her up. I'm like, she was the first female lead of a Star Trek series. Okay. Ran 7 years. She was in charge, but she was tough. She was smart. The character and the actress has been in a lot of great roles, strong women roles. And it's just, so my daughter's like, the wheels are turning, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we also got to see a Clone Wars panel. She got to be taught, interviewed by Anthony Daniels, which was
And this
wild.
is the previous. Which con was that?
Right. I'm going back and forth here. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all stuff, and this was 2023 Rhode Island Comic-Con, I believe. So but again, it was cool. Like my daughter's fearless. She'll raise her hand and want to go ask questions to people she's barely seen anything that they've done at times. Like she's not afraid. She was not afraid last summer to get up and ask Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and Randy Quaid about the Vacation film series. Fearless. Love it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but this year, we actually went to see a panel with Helen Hunt in it, mostly because it was, and it not that it wasn't interesting, because it was. Unfortunately, my daughter has no idea who she is and has never seen anything she's ever done. But it was the only one that fit our panel schedule. There was Simon Pegg had one that I wanted to go see, but you're there for 6 to 8 hours, and it was right around the time we were stuck in the long lunch line. We weren't able to get out in time. Cena was right around the same time our photo op was. So we couldn't get in there because that would have been fun to see. Plus, he's a local. So, that would have been neat. And then the one we would have definitely both flipped to go see would be Hayden and Ewan, but that was 7:30.
Yeah, and you're already, we explained that one.
Old.
And
old.
you're well within your rights to not to veto that one. So
yeah. It wasn't it wasn't a want to, it was more of a necessity.
Yeah. I hear that. So you saw Temura Morrison, and then who are these other fine people here? Wait, is that Helen Hunt?
That's Helen Hunt on the left.
Okay.
On
the left.
Excuse me, on the right. On the right. Sorry. I'm sorry. On the right. That's Helen Hunt on the right. And, I was a fan. I enjoyed Twister. I watched Mad About You as a kid. I'd seen As Good as It Gets. She deservedly won an Oscar and had a nice run of about, 5 to 7 years where she was a fairly, popular Hollywood draw, as a leading actress.
Have you seen any older episodes of Mad About You?
Not in a long time.
And this wasn't even very recent, but I saw one of their first season episodes, and it was one I had seen and everything because must see TV. Everyone watched NBC on Thursday nights. I mean, that's what you did.
Yeah, of course.
Back then in the early 90s, and I was watching it, and I felt like I was watching something from the 50s or 60s because life was so different then. No cell phones, no internet, corded phones. But it was modern time. You would see the occasional computer or like the bricky laptop or something. It just felt weird that in like 7 years time, it would be 2000. And we would have all those things as mainstream, and high-speed internet and everything would be making its debut in around that time. And
sure,
life changed dramatically during the course of that show. And it's
Yeah, of
just
course.
shocking to see how different it
Yeah.
was in some
You know,
circumstances when
you
it felt
know
so
the
modern.
the funny thing is, like, she talked a bit about the show and how it was kind of talky, and it was really a lot of the interaction was her and Paul Reiser, right?
Yep.
And they're like a youngish New York couple, newly married. They don't have kids, but they had like themes, right? She said the themes were trying to get pregnant for one season. One season was while they were pregnant, and then, new parents. So it made sense. They were smart. And of course, there were some questions, of course, about Lisa Kudrow as her character in Friends. And basically, she said that it was her performance on Mad About You as the ditzy waitress, Ursula, that basically got her the job on Friends in the first place. And one of the
Yep.
things that they were talking about is a lot of people don't realize that this is in the same universe as Friends. Like, well, if you watch the show, they had a crossover, a
Yeah,
couple
there
of
was
times.
a couple of times, and I mean, they had the whole blackout motif for
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 shows, all
Mhm.
suffer the same blackout on the same night. And it started with Mad About You because they were
Yep.
trying to get free cable. So
Yep.
it was the blackout episode of Friends. That was the first episode of Friends I ever saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what got me into watching Friends. That it was what do you call it? What do you it's not a motif, it's a stunt, but it's a gimmick. The
It
gimmick
is a
got me
gimmick.
into watching Friends. So
Well, I looked it up, because my family and I had been on a run for a while of watching Golden Girls episodes. And then, as we got into like season 2 and 3, they were talking, it was like we were like one season away from when they started spinning off Golden Girls. And I'm like, like Golden Girls literally like spun off its own universe.
yeah, it really did.
There was a whole bunch of Miami-based shows that kind of spun off of, Empty Nest, Nurses. There was one or two
Mhm.
others that tried, but there was a few that there was like 3 really that kind of lasted for at least 3 seasons, I want to say. And they had in NBC would have these events, these crossover events, where like some theme like a hurricane or something would hit, and all the shows would be suffering it, and you might see
Yeah.
characters swap over. And they did that a couple of times on NBC. I think ABC did it once or twice. I think they did it with like Coach and Drew Carey and stuff like that around the
Mhm.
same time. So like it was a thing. Like you don't think about the shared universes as much, before you get to, modern movies and stuff, but or the Arrowverse or like, maybe Star Trek, but you're like, well, it's all Star Trek. But, like Friends and Mad About You, you don't think that's in this. I mean, they're all New York based shows, but you're like, oh, like there's Helen Hunt on an episode of Friends walking into Central Perk and talking to Phoebe like she's Ursula working a second job.
Right.
Yeah. Or then, or the episode that Joey hooks up with Ursula, which is very weird for a long time.
Yeah.
But they talk a bit about that. And
Was
it
there
was
anything
fun.
poignant that she brought up?
Well, they talked a lot about some of the great comedic legends that guest starred. Like they had like the straight up legends of comedy: Brooks, Reiner, Sid Caesar, Carol Burnett, and some of them like Carol Burnett and Mel Brooks had recurring roles. Like I think Mel Brooks won an Emmy for guest actor for
Of
doing
course
something
he
like
did.
half a dozen shows. And that was something like they learned from these, and they were like, it was like, oh my God, I'm, in this scene. She said she was okay unless she looked at Paul Reiser in scenes with Mel Brooks. Like he was just dying. You know, like they would lose like half a day of shooting because he couldn't keep it together when Mel was on. It was stuff like that. But she also talked about her experiences working with Jack Nicholson and As Good as It Gets, and being a little kind of starstruck at first, you know, like, oh wow, I'm working with Jack. But like she said, Jack was, you know, a real professional. He comes in, he wants to run lines with her, and that's, you know, like, when by the time Jack Nicholson is working with her on this movie, he's already won at least one Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but it was NBC. It was must-see TV.
No.
20, 30 million. Oh, sorry.
No. For As Good as It Gets.
Yeah.
And then he wins another Oscar.
Yeah, he does. He does. He won an Oscar for that damn movie.
She did too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's
she's
a good movie. You just don't
it's a
see
good
movies like that anymore. Like, not in the
and
theater anyway.
They mentioned that too. It was like not a movie. It what they would do in that movie was more, I guess you could probably do it now more days in an indie film, but it wouldn't be a big movie. And it wasn't originally written as a rom-com, but then as they're like getting through it, they're like, oh, this is a romantic comedy, I guess. So
Even though
anyway,
they're not romantic with each other.
right. And that's another thing why it was kind of flipped on its head, right?
Yeah.
But she said some of her hardest, you know, scenes she ever did was in Twister, all the physical activity. But she said she loved that cast, and the cast was literally loaded with people from NBC shows at the time. You know, like when you're watching them, like 3 or 4 of these people were on NBC shows in the 90s. What'd they do? Just go to the NBC lot and just clear house?
Yes, they did. What was it? The Single Guy, the guy with the blonde curly hair. He was in The Single Guy at the time.
Yeah.
I loved that show too, by the way.
That was another one
from Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, Jonathan Silverman.
Mm-hmm. And then what is it? Oh, Men Behaving Badly. I don't think that has any relevance to Twister, but Men Behaving Badly.
But that was
great
Rob
show
Schneider.
that I loved. Rob Schneider and that blonde guy.
Ron Eldard.
Thank you. I loved that show. I couldn't get enough of that. But Ming Na Wen was in that movie. It was in that show.
The Single Guy, yeah.
Yeah, the Single Guy.
And she had been on ER before that too, so she must have been under NBC contract.
Something. Well, very good. The Twister was definitely a phenomenon in its own right. And here's another picture of her.
Hence, there's a spinoff.
Twisters, which I think I own. I think I bought the dual pack this couple months ago.
I heard it's fun.
I have heard the same.
It wasn't like I was opposed to go seeing it. I don't think I found time last year. So I really should watch it. It had a fantastic soundtrack too, though.
Well, and that was the other thing that felt weird when they were marketing the movie last summer. They were marketing the soundtrack too, like get the soundtrack, get the soundtrack to Twisters now and Target.
It was a double album. It was like 30 songs.
It was massive. Alexander Kay is on that album, by the way. The country music artist that I like, that I've been recommending every now and then.
Luke Combs had a smash hit on that with Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Song. That's now like everybody's I'm going to go get drunk when a tornado hits down near me song. Yeah. So that was interesting.
I have Twisters. I own it.
Yeah, I got to watch it. But yeah, it was neat. Plus, it was nice to get off my feet and sit for a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
But it was nice hearing her. And, we bounced around and we saw some great vendors, and we met a guy, Guy Gilchrist. He was an original Muppet comic book art. Well, there's Cena.
Yeah,
that was
Cena.
There was kind of an opening in the curtain, and my kid she did a quick drive-by. Pretty good picture for a drive-by, to be honest.
That's
with
a
you.
very good picture. Yeah.
Yeah. But we Guy Gilchrist, he was a comic book artist when there were Muppet comic strips and comic books back in the 80s. And on his table was a bunch of his drawings and artwork and stuff, but also a picture of him with Jim Henson. And he told us a little story about, how Jim Henson was encouraging his work and whatnot, and to, find ways to refocus himself. So he wasn't, it was really cool. And this guy talked to us for probably about 10-15 minutes. And
I'm
he
sorry,
drew
I didn't have it in the original thing, so let me just. I gotta exit the slideshow. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second.
Oh, well, I should have sent you 2 pictures, right?
You did, and I didn't. I left them in my downloaded folder. So hold on.
Sure.
You were bringing.
It was just a really, these things are just fun, man. I really do enjoy going to these things.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you do.
And it is something fun for me and my family. Like Mrs. Cavman, if any members of the A team, the original A team, show up, she's going. Like if Dwight Schultz shows up, Dirk Benedict or Mr. T, if they show up to one of these, she's like, I'm in. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a blast. Like when we all went, happened to coincide with LeVar Burton and a Futurama panel with most of the voice cast, and we laughed hysterically the whole time. Like she got exactly what she wanted, So
good.
But yeah, this guy, and just so you know, like this is my kid's hand, and
yeah,
he's sitting on one side of the table, and he's like, "Here, put your hand out," and he drew that facing her.
Yeah,
so he drew it upside down.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty
cool.
freaking good beaker, isn't it?
That is a good beaker.
For
yeah,
upside down. And
yeah,
Beaker just happens to. Beaker just happens to be Mrs. Cavman's favorite Muppet, and so we did buy. And if you can just quickly skip through real quick, thank you. This is that drawing of Beaker we got signed and sent to Mrs. Cavman. Because we always try to find something nice. And we were walking through, and my kid goes, "Look, Dad, they're brain slugs." And these 3 people walked around, were wearing Futurama, like Planet Express shirts, and they had brain slugs from Futurama. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm a huge Futurama. We're huge Futurama fans. We love the brain slugs." And he's like, "Oh, here." and he hands me my own personal brain slug.
Nice. Here, let's
you can zoom in.
Yeah, I'll just zoom in on this. Yeah, well, I can't, but anyway, they can see it. It's the biggest picture on the screen.
Sure.
So, a little brain slug that sits on the tip of your finger for our visually disinclined listeners.
It's funny. I mean, like it's this little, it might be 3D printed brain slug, and it's just the random things that you see at cons. One of the things I really liked though is you see all the great costumes, right? People's cosplay, and yeah, there's the professionals there, and then there's the people who do. Like the 501st Legion, the Star Wars group that have their own chapters, and they go places, and they helped make the Mandalorian. So they're all over the place, right? And they're like, "Oh, come in, pictures are free. You want us pictures?" And it's you get to stand there, and if you're wearing good Star Wars shit, it really blends in. If you're wearing Star Trek stuff, it looks a little out of place, but they're still like, come on in, take a picture.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's always fun. The vendors, they're always trying to sell neat things. But Fan Expo has this really cool feature. It's a red carpet. And I've sent you a few red carpet pictures.
Okay. Yeah. Let me get to that. Bloop. There it is.
That's a good one. So I am still on my quest to make the perfect Mako uniform.
Right.
And I've got some blue tactical pants, a blue tactical shirt that does have a great shoulder patch, like shoulder Velcro, that's perfectly fit for the Velcro Mako patch that I have on. And on the other side, I have one that's like a Starfleet patch on the other sleeve. On my collar, I have a subdued rank from my old military days. I've got this Federation hat. I have the, communicator pinned on. And I have two types of phasers, but what I broke out this time for the first time
Uh-oh.
was,
Uh-oh, everybody.
The
There it is.
Star Trek First Contact phaser rifle. It is, and I will say this: it's a pain in the neck because, like, the Nerf doesn't really work well with the rifle as easily as other Nerf, but it does do this and this.
Oh, cool.
So it lights up. That's what you see. And
Nice. Nice.
yeah, not enough Trekkies around. There was a few, but most of them just kind of missed all the Trek related stuff.
Yeah.
One person did will go, "Oh, you're Starfleet security." Sure.
Yeah.
Sign it.
Why not? It's part of, there's
Well,
kind of security associated with it.
I had my backpack. I put it in. I tried to put it in nose first. It was too top heavy, so I started putting it in, rifle butt first. They Borgify it just so you know it was first contact.
Right, of course.
I
They
actually
have
kind
to.
of think it does. I feel it detracts a little, plus it makes the back kind of chunky. But overall, it's pretty cool looking. But after a while, I started just walking around, at carry arms, just because it would. I didn't want it to pop out and whack somebody in the head, which it almost did a couple times. But I would walk around and. But we had those great moments, but this time I just couldn't help myself.
Uh-oh.
I got
You could have
for
maybe
years.
had them right behind the computer, but that's okay.
I don't want to scratch the wall.
Oh my. Oh no. What are we looking at here? Can't see it. Oh, you got a lightsaber.
I got a good one too.
Yeah.
Finally. Like the one I got in Disney that you build your own. Pretty good. Not gonna lie. But
Aren't those supposed to be like high quality from Disney?
this was from 2019 too, though, dude. I didn't get the $200 one. I got like the $75,
Oh,
$80
never
one.
mind. Never
You
mind.
still
Okay,
build
I
it,
was thinking
but
of the
it's mostly
$200
plastic.
one. Gotcha. Wow, that's a sweet lightsaber. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I had to.
Of course you did. Now what you have to do is when you're on your cruise, you need to film yourself like having some battle with some other dude on a glass elevator. Have you seen those videos?
That would be awesome. Not gonna lie, that would be awesome. By the way, did it show up?
Yeah, it did.
my background went away, right?
It did actually, shockingly enough.
Good. It's just so it could show up better. Yeah, man. I mean, maybe I will be a Jedi coming up at some point in another con. Now that I have a solid, really nice lightsaber to show up with.
Yeah.
There were some fantastic Jedi. There was a lot of Anakins and Padmes and Obi-Wans. But there was Kylo Ren's, there was Cal Kestis, there was more than a few of those. Some decent Han
Love me some Cal
Solos.
Kestis.
I know you do. Where'd you go?
Where am I? Oh, sorry. I just made you front and center. And I forgot.
Yeah.
My apologies. I'm just looking at you like because I'm supposed to see you. So my bad.
I mean, there was a great Gandalf. My kid was an elf. There was a great Gandalf, and we took a picture of them together. That was cool. There were some Ahsokas, a lot of Mandos, various types of Mandalorian. Not as many there was a couple of Boba Fett's, one or two Mandalorian, like Din Djarin's, but there was a lot of people designing their own Mando stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
And when we were in line to go get our picture with Temura Morrison, we were standing next to this family, kind of chatting a little bit with them. And I'm like 99% sure that this family we met at Boston Fan Expo 2 years ago. And my kid was Ahsoka at the time, and this young woman now, I think she's probably 16. I think she was maybe she looks like she might have been around the same age as my kid, maybe a year older. But she had this fantastic Bo-Katan outfit with the red wig and everything, 3D printed, armor. But you could tell it was something like a younger kid did. It looked hand painted. And she wanted to get a picture with my kid, Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, you
parents
showed me
agree
that.
to it.
Yeah.
Yes. We are pretty restrictive on our underage kid having pictures taken with. We're okay taking pictures. We don't let randos come and take pictures, that sort of thing.
Right.
The parents and I, we both agreed, hey, if you're okay, I'm okay, because we both, there are two kids taking pictures. That was the important thing, right? And it was a great picture too. And this kid, it's pretty sure it's the same girl. And they were standing there, and I'm like, I'm talking to my kid. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the same girl. And she's like, I think it is too, but I don't really know how to say it without sounding creepy. Like, hey, I think we met you 2 years ago.
There's nothing creepy about that, especially in the context of you guys are waiting in line. The situation was a similar circumstance.
Sure.
Of course it would be top of mind.
Yeah, but we just erred on the side of,
don't be creepy. Well, that's the mantra for every father.
Well,
so.
yeah, but
any
it was
father
still
worth
kind
their
of
salt.
Well, I also felt weird recognizing it. Like, oh yeah, if I had gone, I remember you. That would have looked bad. And at that time, it was just pure chaos. They overbooked Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen so much so that it pushed everybody else back by 20 minutes. So the natives were getting restless.
Yeah.
And when you're with your fellow fans, typically they're usually pretty chill, very positive, love your stuff. Haven't seen that one before. Oh my God, I haven't thought of that one in forever. Stuff like that, right? Can we get some pictures? Stuff like that. Yeah, it was starting to get pretty ugly. as it was now almost 30 minutes past when some of us were supposed to even get in line to get our pictures.
Ugh.
It was, and because we were just funneled all into this one tight area. And it was a little bit of a headache, but overall, the con experience is just really cool. My kid, you're going and checking out vendors, and and of course, you'll have some people that'll sell knockoff Lego minifigures. You'll have people who sell knockoff, gibbets. You'll have people there was people who were creating candles based on scents from franchises. Like my kid saw these smelly candles, and she picked up the one that said Tatooine, and she's like, "Oh, it's blue." I'm like, "Why isn't it like sandy colored? Is it going to smell like sand?" And then the vendor comes over. It's like, "Oh no one wanted to have a candle that smelled like sand. So since blue milk made its first appearance there, we made it smell like blue milk." And they said they used the ingredient they used for the smell, the ingredients that they used to make blue milk at Disney is what they said. So
You never had blue milk, right?
I did at Rhode Island
You
Comic
did.
Con last year.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried it.
Sanctioned?
I don't think so. It wasn't sold by any Disney proprietor.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely not milk, but
Very
it's
sweet.
not bad. It is. It's basically
almost like melted ice cream.
It's a slushy, in essence. I mean, it's more ice based than it is cream based, and
I don't know. I think the one we got was kind of cream based.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is it was something that my kid wanted to try. It was by Blue Milk and Cookies. Okay, let's get blue milk and cookies.
Why not?
And that was at Rhode Island last year. So I mean, geez, man. There were people dressed as Muppets. Oh, I think one of my favorites was it was clearly Mando on vacation. This guy was wearing a Hawaiian shirt that had Mando and Grogu patterns in it. He had Grogu in a pouch. He's wearing sandals and cargo shorts. It was awesome. I'm like, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that is a good one. I'm a little disappointed. I thought I really nailed this costume pretty well. It does. I was also a little worried walking in. I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm ice. Wait, my face is showing. Of course not.
Little non sequitur that I saw a quick short video of a guy being handed a shotgun at Bass Pro Shops. And the guy was young. He was probably 18, 19 years old, just old enough to be able to buy a gun. And then and he as soon as he was handed it, he turned to the side and pointed it at the ground. He was like, "Get on the effing ground now!" And then everyone just went, "Give it back. That's it. Nope." And then one of the vendors was like, "Are you stupid, man? You could have just been shot right now by doing that." Yeah, non sequitur. But it plays off. You mentioning ice plays off of a joke that Adam Carolla says that his life dream is to go to Alaska to some dive bar and put on an ATF windbreaker, walk in and go, "Federal agent, freeze!" and just watch how many people jump out the window to get away.
Oh Lord!
Because Alaska is, a lot of deadbeat dads go to Alaska and stuff to, that's just. Were you familiar with that? I heard it. I've heard it many times, but that's the thing.
All I can say is I enjoyed Comic-Con, man, or Fan Expo, really. My kid did. We were excited to meet Boba Fett, which we did. We got to see some vendors, some costumes, and I recorded 3 separate shorts, which I will upload, folks. I try typically, if I can do it, where there's people in the background, so you can see a little people going by. But overall, it's a great time. If you haven't had a chance to go to a Comic-Con, to a Fan Expo, to something like this, I highly recommend it. Hell, I'm going to these things like all the time now, not just the one in Boston and Rhode Island, but I go to Red Sox winter weekend, and I went to a Patriots thing. These are basically Comic Cons. You wait in line to get pictures with former athletes, players, pictures, autographs. You're going to listen to panels. I'm like, this is Red Sox Con. This is Patriots Con. Okay, that's what I do now.
Well, I have noticed there seems to be a bit of a theme going on, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just you taking advantage of your life with your family. So,
right. And this is like Mrs. Cavman will go to Red Sox Con in a heartbeat. And I took my kid to Pat's Con, and she's like, well, this was neat. DT Cavman actually got on somebody else's podcast by asking a question at Pat's Con this spring. So, it's just, these are fun, man. I've heard too much lately from people who piss and moan about adults who go to Disney or wait in line to get pictures with whatever. I remember one of the giddiest Mrs. Cavman was the first time we took her to Disney. She'd never been. And when we got in line so she could meet Mickey and Minnie, because it was a fulfillment of a childhood dream to meet Mickey and Minnie. Didn't matter that she was 28, 29 years old.
Yeah.
No. It's not like we're, like we got in line for every character, but it was just something, like me who'd been several times, my parents and sister who'd been several times. It helped give us back that a little more joy when you see it through somebody's fresh eyes. I had that, beautiful moment again when we took my kid the first time, right? The first time you do these things don't be a thief of joy, right?
Right. So,
I don't know. The first time you get a chance to walk into a con and you're like, oh shit, this is awesome. Seize that. Do that. Be the guy who keeps trying to make the obscure costume work. Okay. Or be the person who, it's okay if you buy something off of Amazon and just wear it, man. If you want to just go in wearing your regular clothes or a Star Trek shirt or whatever, do it, as long as you go and have fun.
And I mean, sage advice, and I totally support anyone else to do that. It's just funny that I personally don't think I could. I know you were pointing that out. It's just, I don't know what it is. We were talking about mass movements, and it's fun to be part of a mass movement with these sci-fi guys. And I enjoyed the hell out of that, being part of, a movement bigger than me in the sense of, being part of a university and whatnot. But I don't know if I could do the sci-fi angle. The shame, the Catholic guilt, man.
Hey, look, man, I once went to a Renaissance fair with some friends. There were two dudes dressed in Starfleet uniforms walking around like they were doing an away mission on a subwarp planet. Okay.
Do you think that those Renaissance fair workers would be mad at that?
I loved it. I thought
I know it's
brilliant.
A cool idea.
I walked up. I'm like, I'm a huge Trek fan. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All the props to you. I think as long as they're not going there and mocking them, if they're trying to enjoy the fun or have their own fun, as it's not at their expense.
There's a way to be in the universe and have fun with it still, even if it's Star Trek based.
Right. Yeah, good point. People are going there and, old, in Renaissance costume and speaking like that. And then you got the dude with Vulcan ears going, this is highly illogical, Captain. I mean, they're having fun. They're not going there to mock the Renaissance fair people. And if you were going there in a Star Trek uniform is not the right way to go about it anyway.
Yeah.
Just have fun. That's what I'm saying. Just go have fun. If the Ren Fair is your jam, great. If you want to dress up like the Kiss Army and go to a Kiss concert, rock on, brother. I'm
Well,
just saying.
I think those are sage words to go out on. Just have fun, right?
Don't be a
So-
dick to other people. Don't steal their joy. Don't use your joy to hurt somebody else.
Yeah, that's it. Well then, I think we'll put a little bow on that one. So thank you for joining us, everyone. Little trip down Boston Fan Expo Lane, 2025. Until the next time, we'll have a special guest. You guys keep streaming. We'll keep working. I am PSK. We're those Sci-Fi guys. Out there.
And I'm DT Cavman. And stay tuned because I will be dropping shorts for from Fan Expo where you can see and hear some of my live reactions.
Well,
They will be dropped
I-
here.
I
onto-
hope people would react negatively dropping your shorts at Fan Expo.
Jesus Christmas. I am going to upload 3
You even hear
distinct
yourself.
short videos of live reactions to what's going on at Boston Fan Expo.
I am so
Enjoy.
isolating that line. I'm so isolating it.
And I'm
Sorry.
DT Cavman. I'll see you on the high ground and screw you, Mac.
Those Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by Alpha Site Productions, produced by DT Cavman and PS McKay. Ocean by music by Aiden under Creative Commons license. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow PS McKay on X at PS McKay or go to thosesci-fi-guys.com for past episode information. You can now find us on Spotify, so head on over there for our latest episodes, but don't worry, you can still find us on Apple. We're also live on Rumble, and you can find us on YouTube with live video podcasts and Facebook, so be sure to leave a like and a comment and let us know how we're doing.